This is Sean Pryor from the Confused Breakfast Podcast and the band Dream Thief. You are listening to Breakdowns for Breakfast.
Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Breakdowns for Breakfast. Okay, I'm done with that.
What in the jazz voice was that?
I'm your host, Danger, and joining me is a fellow that I cannot properly break down an album without, your co-host, Monster. Say hi, Monster.
Hi. You know, I was trying to think if there was a particular reason that you started off that way. Is there something?
Nope, it's just what came out.
Just what came out. Because I was trying to think, like, I know what album we're doing, and I was trying to think, like, how does that pertain to this album?
It doesn't.
It doesn't really, does it? Because today we're doing the album Lose It Loud by the band Yellow Hazard.
No.
Oh, man.
We're going to be talking about the album Keep It Quiet from Greyhaven that was released October 10th, 2025. Now, this is something we haven't done longer than I expected, but this is a request that we got from Cody off of Spotify. Thank you, Cody, for your request. And Cody, I want to say thank you for requesting this one specifically, even though we have had plenty come in, because this was a fun album.
So let's thank Cody for a couple things. Number one, thank you for the support.
Yeah.
Dude listens to pretty much every episode.
And he comments on a lot of them.
That was number two, comments on just about everything. And it's been real fun kind of going back and forth with him. And yes, he picked a good one. He picked a real good one. I was listening to this thinking, me and Danger might be on the same page more on this one than we've been on something in a while.
Yeah, and we've not really been on the same page as of late. And,
No.
I think actually what may have surprised me, or not surprised me, but I don't know. So when I saw that this was a Solid State band, Solid State Records, my thought was, I haven't really listened to Solid State bands in a while. We've talked plenty on the show about how Tooth and Nail was a safe choice for us growing up, and Solid State is the offshoot of and the heavier part of the Tooth and Nail brand, I guess. And, the ongoing concept was a Solid State band for a while, which TJ told us that they're no longer on Solid State, even though they are still on the Solid State website, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, I feel like I need to go and check out some more Solid State bands.
So speaking of which, there is a very cool Instagram page called Is Blank a Christian Band? And they literally just send a message to every band you've ever heard of and just say, "Are you a Christian band?" And they just respond back. And there's so many that you have probably heard of. And it's so much fun reading through these to see how different bands react. So, like, the way I discovered this was I saw that Greyhaven was on Solid State, and I know Solid State doesn't necessarily mean they have to be a Christian band, but sometimes they are. So it pops up, this Is Blank a Christian Band, sent them a message, said, "Are you a Christian band?" And they said, "No, we are not." The guy just responds, "Good to know," and posts it. That's it. But then on the flip side, Scene Queen sends a message to Scene Queen and says, "Are you a Christian band?" And she says, "Yes." He goes, "Oh, nice." And that's the end of that.
That's fun. I'm going to check out that account because it sounds like a good time. But I think as we've gotten older, just because it's a Christian band doesn't mean it's a bad band. And just because it's a Christian band doesn't mean it's... I feel like there's a lot more Christian bands, especially under the Tooth and Nail, Solid State, BEC, umbrella. This should be paid attention to more. And come to find out, a lot of them are paid attention to. I just didn't know that's what record label they were on.
Well, what's wild to me is I feel like I've seen more bands be like real open about being a Christian band lately. And then I've seen a lot of bands that Silent Planet is the one that comes to mind for me, that I feel like it is not a big leap to take those lyrics and turn them into faith-based lyrics. But, they say the same thing. They're not a Christian band. Right. There was nothing on this album. Granted, I didn't dive real deep into the lyrics very much, but there wasn't anything in the lyrics here that I thought was like, okay, you guys are a Christian band. Stop being so whatever. You know what I mean?
I didn't dive super deep into the lyrics like you were talking about, but I did, listen to, read the lyrics a few times and listening to this album because I was just curious and good lyrics. I mean, it's not standout, like, blow your mind kind of lyrics, but there was no place where I thought that they were awkwardly pronouncing something or trying to fit in a word that was just kind of awkward within things. And I like that.
There's one, and I made a note of it because I heard something every time I heard this album until today when I looked at the lyrics and I said, is he saying what I think he's saying? No, he's not, but it makes me laugh anyway.
All right. I'll be very interested to hear what that is when we get to it. But yeah, I don't know. This was one that I wanted to do more diving into and find out more about them. And I did somewhat, but I kind of pulled back on it because as much as I want to know about the bands that we listen to, and I want to, I feel like it's part of our duty to, find out all the facts about bands and all, this was just a fun album and I was having a good time with it. I actually kind of had trouble taking notes the first couple times that I sat down to do it because I was just enjoying it.
Yeah, the first couple times I listened to it, I was doing the same thing because I was like listening and nodding my head. And it's like I'm getting ready to take a note, and then they would change what they were doing into something else. And I'm like, oh, I got to make the stink face for about 10 seconds. Then I forgot what I was going to write. My neck hurt because I think what makes this band cool is they're sort of a mix of a lot of different things. They definitely, the reason I mentioned this in my closing statement, but this is definitely a band I had seen the name. I had heard of them. I've seen their name like on tours with other bands I had heard of. And it was always kind of in the screamo, hardcore, post-hardcore kind of stuff. And so I guess it does fit, but there's a little more to this band than just that. So I kind of just never thought to really give them a shot. However,
thanks, Cody.
Yeah. So since doing this, though, since he requested this and we started working on this episode, they announced that they're going on like a kind of a small tour. I think they're touring with somebody bigger. I think Periphery or something.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I missed that.
Which you sent me that Periphery was going on tour because you keep thinking I like Periphery, but I like Polyphia. No. It's two different bands.
No. I know that you don't like them, but I'm sending it to you now because of that, because I got it mixed up before.
But then Greyhaven's doing their own thing, and guess who one of the openers is for them?
Who?
Cheem.
Oh.
So that made me really happy to see those two. God, I'd love to go to that. That would be a blast. And then another band called Football Head. Which
yeah.
I don't know them, but just by the name and the fact they're on tour with those two, I have to listen to them too.
Yeah, you know where the name Football Head comes from, don't you?
Hey Arnold, right?
Yeah, right. Just called him Football Head. Yeah, okay. So when, we threw this on the list a while ago, and when we, try to plan out albums in the future, this was one where you're like, you know what, we need to do a request. Let's do the Greyhaven one. I was like, Greyhaven, cool. I've seen Greyhaven. I haven't seen Greyhaven. Who I saw was Deafhaven.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was convinced that Greyhaven was Deafhaven until I put them on. I was like, this is not Deafhaven.
I tried Deafhaven a couple times. The algorithm thinks I should like them, and I didn't. I never really got into anything I heard by them. But it's been years. I couldn't even tell you what they sound like off the top of my head. Yeah,
Deafhaven is fine. Okay. They're not a band that I have ever heard anything that I've thought, oh, that's good. I listen to that again. But I would see them live because they were so much fun live.
If I remember correctly,
blast live.
Heavy band pop vocal, which is something that a lot of bands I enjoy have. And that's kind of why they keep popping up, I think.
Okay, so the more recent stuff that I've heard from them, yes. I would say that, like, there is a good bit of screaming, but there's a good bit of pop vocal. When I saw them live, there was no pop vocal at all.
Okay.
So, let's talk about the guys that make up Greyhaven. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
So on vocals, we have Brent Mills. And then on guitar, Mr. Nick Spencer. And on bass, Johnny. Not Donnie, Munich, I guess. And Johnny, if I am mispronouncing your name, Correct me, I guess. I don't know. And on drums, Ethan Spray.
We gotta stop telling the bands to listen to our episodes.
You know, the last time I had told the band to correct me, they listened to the episode. So you know what? I'm going to keep doing it.
That's true. Shout out to Holy Water for being cool.
Yeah. Holy Water, you were like super cool. I was actually rather caught off guard by how easygoing you guys were. I don't know who I was talking to in that Instagram chat, but cool.
I don't know either, but I don't care what you say. You like Sleep Token at least a little bit. Don't lie to me.
All right. And then the producer on this album was Will Putney. Now, Will Putney.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's worked with Knocked Loose, Body Count, which I was surprised by, and Bad Omens. Do you know who Body Count is?
Oh, yeah. Ice-T's band.
Oh, shit. Body Count's in the house. Body Count's in the house.
Yep. Which most people don't know that Ice-T has a metal band called Body Count. And they're fun.
Well, fun is one word for it. They were kind of scary when they first came on the scene, but yeah.
They're like a 94 South LA Rodney King fun.
I don't think Rodney King fun is a genre.
It's not. It's not at all.
But if it was, Body Count would be in it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, do you know what bands Mr. Will Putney has been in?
Yeah. That I'm not sure about. I know he has produced a ton of good stuff. What bands has he been in?
All right. So, he was guitarist and co-founder of Fit for an Autopsy. And he was in the metalcore supergroup End, END. Never heard of them, so I had to look them up. End was comprised of Brendan Murphy from Counterparts, Will Putney from Fit for an Autopsy, Gregory Thomas from Shadi Halud, I think is how you pronounce that name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jay Petipo from Reign Supreme, and Matt, I'm butchering all these names. I do apologize. Matt Guglielmo from the Acacia Strain.
Okay, that last word you said.
Okay, it's
Guglielmo.
It's Guglielmo.
Somebody's cat walked across the keyboard, and Wikipedia just left it. It's not a real name.
And he was also in Better Lovers.
Fit for an Autopsy is another one of those bands that like I don't listen to on a regular basis, but they're like just so brutal and nasty that every once in a while it's like I could use a little bit of that, just a song or two, and then moving on.
Yeah, I could use a song that makes my feelings hurt.
That's like I used to really like Bury Your Dead. They had an album. God, I can't remember what it was called now, but every song title was a Tom Cruise movie. That album ruled.
That's fun. It's I like those kinds of things. I feel like we've done several albums where it's like there's jokes all within. Left Hand Black comes to mind. It's like half their songs were references to horror movies, and then there's a couple that were references to 70s pornographic films.
Right. Some of the best song titles ever are on old I Wrestled a Bear Once albums.
Those were so much fun.
They got best band song names ever.
Horse of a Different Color. Yeah, that was good.
Karate Nipples.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so what I will say is that I did come across something about this album, and I appreciate it. That this album, unlike so many other albums that we listen to on the show, that we have listened to in our casual daily lives and all, is our albums that are built around singles. Mm-hmm. This is not one of those albums. This is an album that was written as an album, and I think that it shows.
It definitely feels very coherent. What I thought was very interesting was, well, it's not anymore, but I could have sworn that when I first put this on my radar to check out, I think the top song on their like most played was the last song on this album. And I was like, wow, that's kind of wild. It's not anymore, but I mean, 9 of the 10 top songs are from this album. So it was like,
because from what I saw, this album is fan favorite.
I mean, this is their most recent album. I have not heard anything else, but I am very curious, and we'll definitely go back and listen to some of the older stuff for sure.
I did go and listen to some of the older stuff, and it's a lot more chaotic and math rocky.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. That was my thought too, which again, I will go back and listen to because I do like that aspect of the band. But I think what made me like this album a lot is that for every moment that is chaotic and dissonant and aggressive, there's like a melodic, chill part to like balance it out.
Yeah, no, they definitely employ dynamics in their songs. And I do appreciate that for sure, because it did keep me from getting the fatigue of a straight through listen that I get on plenty of other albums we do.
Speaking of the band members and the melody versus the dissonant and all that, what do you think of the lead singer's vocals?
I don't hate them, but I didn't love them at all moments of it. But okay, so I'm going to put this up front. I genuinely like the first 2/3 of this album. Really like it, really enjoy it. It's at a certain point where I feel like they swap out the post-hardcore sound for butt rock. And I feel like we get post-hardcore butt.
Post-butt.
Post-butt, yeah.
We've all had some post-butt in our lives. No, so what I was going to say...
We've all been post-butt.
Better than a butt post, or is it? I don't know.
I'm sure, I think I saw that for sale once.
Facebook Marketplace is a scary place. So
I think it was just free on Craigslist.
I actually think the singer is fantastic because his voice, his tone, and some of the things he does with it remind me a mix of two people, Jesse Leach from Killswitch and Chris Voles from Flaw, two of my favorite rock/metal singers. And
I thought you were going to go with, who was the secondary vocal in Billy Talent? I don't remember his name now.
Oh, yeah. The guitar player who does some backing vocals.
Yeah, I thought you were going to compare it to him because I heard that more in it.
Not so much in the vocals, but actually some of the little guitar licks did give me just a pinch of Billy Talent. And tell me if you agree or if you think I'm way off here. Some of the music reminded me a lot of Say Hello to Sunshine by Finch. I got a
you're
big
not
dose
wrong.
of that.
Yeah. And I think it's because Say Hello to Sunshine had a lot more of the dissonant math rocky type of moves on it, whereas What It Is to Burn did not. Right. And I still like What It Is to Burn. I will stand by that album. I like it, even though you think it's
bad. No, I never. What episode was I listening to? And you said I didn't like it. That's not true. I never said I don't like it. I just said that I like Say Hello to Sunshine more because it's so different. I think What It Is to Burn is a really good, fairly stock emo, screamo, pop punk kind of album. It's got some great hooks.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a fine album. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it doesn't stand, to me, it doesn't like set itself apart enough. Whereas Say Hello to Sunshine is its own animal. Like it's a completely different thing from anybody else at that time.
I will say though, and this is not a Finch episode, but I'm going to take a bit of a Finch detour. Anyway, so the version of the song What Is to Burn on the album What Is to Burn, the demo version of that song is so much better. And I actually have it on I picked up a 4-song, and I thought it was 4 songs, but I think there's a hidden track on it, and it is the demo version of What Is to Burn. It's so good. So good. It's like, I don't know, 3 minutes longer and just does more, and it's a good time.
Right on.
But anyway, so I did not hate his vocals. I didn't love them as much as you did, but there was no point where I thought, he's just overdoing it. No, I thought he was appropriate at every time. In fact, I think that this band overall was doing appropriate things at all times. There was no point that the bass really jumped out to me. The bass just kind of gave a strong backbone to the song. But I will say the guitar and drums did jump out to me at different points.
His voice really kept me engaged. And I think a lot of the guitar work is really fun. They do some really cool, like, unexpected chord progressions, and they add like these little like dissonant notes and stuff to the chords that I really, really enjoy. The bass does a couple little runs here or there that kind of stand out, but you're right. It's not quite as flashy as some of the other stuff that's going on.
But it's not always a bad thing either, because
No.
sometimes the bass, the most appropriate place for the bass to be is just there and just holding. Like, I feel like the bass just kind of gives a good groundwork to the sound that's happening, and I'm okay with that.
When you've got a song that has, you know, a couple of guitar lines and they're kind of high pitched and they're wheedly deedly and they're kind of bouncing all over the place, you need that thick low end to kind of hold down the fort so it's not super like in a high pitch register too much, you know.
And I know you like a thick low end.
Who doesn't? We just talked about post butt or butt post or whatever we decided on.
Track 1, Prelude, Evening Star. Okay, so first I thought it was strange that they named it that way. I don't think I've seen a prelude also get a name, but that's fine. You know, that let me know that it's like, okay, this is going to be a little bit different. But what I thought was interesting about it, well, I'll wait until we get further into the song. Okay. Greyhaven kicks things off with a very bare bones kind of sound.
I see the God in your bones.
This is a weird song.
It is.
I put it this way. I had seen the name of the band in different places. I knew they were on Solid State. I thought I knew what I was going to get. And when this song started for the first time, I was like, this is not at all what I expected. And I hope the album doesn't sound like this all the time, because I was like, this is neat. This is different. I can't listen to an album that sounds like this.
No, I want to say I had the same kind of thought going on, and then 45 seconds comes and there's these sounds, and it's like, nah, I don't like that either.
I have in my notes 45 seconds. I don't like that.
And it just kind of exists as this until we hit 136, and then we get a short ramp up, and then it kicks the damn door in.
136, like it sounded like some kids that didn't really know what they were doing were just hanging out in a room jamming, and then all of a sudden Dillinger Escape Plan walked in and like kicked them all in the head and stole their instruments and were like, it's our turn, and just like went completely apeshit. And it was like, okay, so now I really don't know what this album's gonna do.
I just had this image in my head of like some kids, similar to what you're talking about, like kids like, you know, kind of messing around and, you know, trying to, you know, come up with something in their garage, and then some like crazy hair metal post-punk like band just comes in, like kicks the like amps over from the back,
yeah,
and there's just like giant shining lights behind them, and they just take off. And
yeah,
so I feel like this as an opener was a really good move, because I think it kind of sets you up for exactly what the album is, where you're going to get the, you know, the low points of, you know, this atmospheric sound, but then you're going to get kicked in the teeth.
I almost thought upon future listens, this is another one of those times, kind of like that first Sim song on that record and some other ones, where it's like, it's a little bit too long to be an intro, but it's not quite long enough to be a song. I don't want to call it a you know, interlude that became a problem, because I like what it does, but it feels almost like this weird middle ground where it's either there's too much of it or there's not enough of it. And I almost wish they would have just done, I don't know, maybe just the soft, weird part as the intro and then just let the second song, take you off guard.
But see, they didn't do that because they did track 1 and 2 on purpose the way that they did.
Yeah, you can tell at the end of track 1, it like speeds up, like the last couple seconds ramps up into the tempo of the second song.
That's what you get! That's what you get! Got it! A sacrificial miracle! This is the end!
Yep. And from what I understand, from what I saw, what I could find, they actually wrote this as one full song. So track 2, Shatter and Burst.
I chained up everybody and I watch it all implode! And I'm so afraid I let the speaker think twice! For all my life!
Is a second part of track 1. And so that made me go, oh, okay, I like this, because then all of a sudden you definitely wrote an album. You didn't write weird track 1 and then try to stick something else onto it. You actually created a movement. You created a sound. And I like that, because if you're not paying attention and you're just listening, it's all one long track, because it does go right into it. And I like that, because yes, you're right. So track 1 is too long to be an intro. It's too short to be a full song, but track 1 and 2 is a full song. And I like it because 3:44 is a good length of a song.
I was just getting ready to say, I would much rather have 2 tracks at 2:25 and 3:44 than you open your album with a 7-minute long song. And that would have put me off. Like that, looking at that, I would have been like, don't love that. So now that you say that, and I like it better now.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I could help you at some points.
But I will say that I don't need any help liking this song, because this song rules. God, this is a good song.
This song is a lot of fun. So it's got, so I was like, I don't want to say I was changing the way I was, kind of taking my notes, but I felt like it was just a clean chorus, just a good, solid, clean chorus. And then with math rock guitars on top of it, just carrying it and just creating this like controlled chaos within it. And I thought it was fun.
And that chorus,
I'm just excited.
I'm right there with you. I listened to this album 2 times today, all the way through, because I like it. Like, I enjoy listening to it.
I listened to it once, not twice, but yeah.
But this chorus is not the first time. The first time I was racking my brain, like, who does this remind me of? But then on subsequent listens, it dawned on me that he sounds a lot like Chris Voles. And if you've never listened to Flaw, I would like to do a Flaw album at some point, because I think you might actually enjoy them. But he's got a deep voice, but he does those kind of runs. And that's the thing that I really dig about this guy's vocals, is so many bands with this kind of math rock dissonant stuff, like I Wrestled a Bear once, Dillinger Escape Plan, they're like 70% or more harsh vocal.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost like 60-40 clean, almost.
Right.
I mean, I guess we'll call it half and half, but there's some songs that there's way more clean vocal than screaming. And I think he's got a unique clean voice, because another band that this kind of reminded me of a little bit was Protest the Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I love Protest the Hero, he's got a very high-pitched, sort of nasally clean. And this doesn't have that. This has this, there's something sort of, what's the word? Like, there's a gravitas to his voice, because it is in that lower register, that I just think adds to the just power behind some of these songs.
Mm-hmm. And, where I feel like you're talking about where he's got enough 60-40 clean?
Something like that, yeah.
But see, I don't feel like it's complete 60-40. I feel like even the clean, like, I don't know, let's say 5% of that clean has a bit of a gruff, a growl to it. And so it's like, and that actually is, I feel like a good explanation to this band, because, this song, and then as I learned further going into this, there's a great juxtaposition between clean and dirty, just like this. It's almost like they created an album of beauty and violence, and it doesn't feel forced. nothing about it, I would say, at least in the first 2/3 of this album, feel forced. It all feels very natural. Like there was never a sudden change where I went, what the hell was that? No, it just kind of all flowed into each other. And I appreciate that. I mean, at 203, where he goes clean, like it all goes clean, it just felt fine. It felt like it was supposed to happen there.
I thought a lot about this. I never thought I'd make it through.
And I'm sorry, I just can't say enough good things about how they are. I haven't heard a band that does dirty to clean and back to dirty as smooth as this band does.
And I think that's why, for as heavy as this album is, I never got that fatigue on this one. Like at no point was there's a couple songs I push back a little, but there is I would say about an almost 10-minute stretch near the end that I'm not as high on as a lot of these other songs, but I never really felt like, oh, I got to give myself a break. Like this is too much, because perfect example on this song, it's a little wide open, but you do have the big clean chorus and you do have some like cleaner moments and more, whatever. But then the end of the song has this like kind of jazzy outro with like this spoken word. It sort of like calms, it exits calmly.
Yeah, but it's like, it just kind of fell into that. Like it didn't feel like they were like, we got to put a spoken word thing. No, it just kind of, it's like the music was happening and then it just kind of calmed down into that spoken word thing. And I want to know what that audio is at 256. Like I want to know what that is.
At one time it was a great disaster, but it seems like that is all gone.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is either. And I like that part for just the weirdness, but at 309, when the little, like, I was calling it the jazzy coda. Like, that's the part that I really dig.
The jazzy coda.
Because the drums are kind of like just a little bit of kind of going on with the drums. And
that is all gone. It slipped away from us.
My God, it's so defeated.
I think that's such a like cool way to end in the song for sure.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about track 3. Show me who you are. Show me where you are.
I swear to touch, I'm not afraid. Going through the motions, then I will meet you in the sky and try to make it perfect.
Show me Greyhaven.
Who you are and where you are and why you are.
And show me when you are, and yeah,
and how you are. I'm fine.
And,
thanks for asking.
And why you are.
Why are you the way you are?
So, okay, I think that this is, I don't know, I want to say my favorite track of the album, but there's probably like 3 tracks. Actually, I gave 3 tracks like the highest of the scores, and this was one of them because I just thought this was a great song. The way that track 2 gave us that like kind of calm down, jazzy bring down, the outro that we got, and then he comes in with the all vocal intro like that.
I will meet you in the sky.
I loved it.
When he first starts singing the chorus, like I'll tell you my roller coaster of emotions the first time I listened to this song. He starts
Your roller coaster of emotions.
Yes. He starts singing the first couple lines of this chorus, and I'm like, I'm not sold on his voice yet. Then the music came in. I was like, oh, I really like that. And then he does this like little falsetto on like a couple words. And I was like, oh, I just melted in my chair. I was like, okay, I'm all in. And then if that wasn't cool enough, then when the verse actually comes in, that's when the like, oh, this reminds me of Say Hello to Sunshine, because those guitars and the way he's singing on it, I was like, man, this is like the 2025 version of that Finch record, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I mean, what was crazy about it is this was I don't want to say the first time because we're on track 3 and everything has jumped out at me at this point, but I didn't make this Say Hello to Sunshine comparison that you did, but I definitely get it now. And it's not that it was they were ripping it off. It was obviously,
it's its own thing. I just hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you hear
references
that
to
influence on it for sure. Even though, Finch was a drive-through band and they're a solid state band. Anyway, I don't know. The guitars did a great job of giving us an appropriate amount of post-hardcore, but then giving us just that chaotic dissonance that Say Hello to Sunshine gave us. But then the vocals on top of it just kind of carried that. And so I know what you're talking about. Like he just kind of has these like little falsetto like peaks within the words. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. And then another part that I really, really love is around like 146. I don't necessarily love what the music shifts to, but I love those like nasty dissonant tapping guitars that are in between the vocals.
Even if I want it, I can never take it back. I feel panic, I feel sad.
Okay. So,
especially, hold on. You hold on. Especially at 158, because the guitars harmonize with each other, and if you got headphones on, you'll hear like each guitar in each ear. And it's gnarly. It's such a cool thing because
it was cool.
Because they're not playing like a pretty sweeping, like, doodly-dee-dee-doo. No, it's like nasty, unsettling notes. And the way they harmonize them is great.
Oh, yeah. No, individually, they kind of make your stomach hurt. But together, it's like it worked. And it wasn't panned awful like that other album we did. What album was that? It was that.
Oh, that's
LS Dunes.
Yeah, that band you wanted to do.
Yeah, shut up. Okay. All right. So, you started to jump way ahead and I want to bring it back a little bit. So, okay. I know we already jumped ahead of this even within this conversation, but okay. So, I'm a sucker for a dropout, but at 36 seconds, we do get an early dropout within this.
Isolate and feed everything you want.
But I realized something upon repeat listens where it was almost like the music changed after that dropout, but not in such a distinct way. It's like kind of like the tone of it changed, and then it slowly kind of fell almost because then they were able to start building this tension within it. And then at 119, we got a little taste of it, but then slowly it becomes the payoff of the guitars that you were talking about. And then we start getting this like controlled chaos of things. And I don't know, it was just one of those things that listening to it just straight through, not really paying attention, didn't really pick up on that. But then when I sat down and really focused on it, was, wait, there's a lot happening here. And like they have really built this entire song, which goes back to they wrote a damn album. They didn't write a single. Sorry. I'm going to keep saying that because I'm just so impressed by that because we get so little of that these days.
No, I agree. And
they're young guys too. So yeah,
this all feels of a piece. There's one or two songs that I do think stand out for different reasons, but nothing feels out of place. All of these songs feel like they you could move some stuff around and kind of mess up the vibe a little, but ultimately all these songs go together in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I want to push back, but I have to agree because, that last third that I was talking about, and I don't even think it's a full third because it's not even a full song that gets us there. But yeah, I feel like those hurt the album overall, and we will talk about this when we get to them. But even those still fit.
I have a feeling me and you are going to have a little bit of a fight on one of these songs. I have a feeling one of the songs that you keep alluding to is possibly my favorite song on this album, and it might get a little ugly for a minute or two.
Okay, so I'm just going to allude to it until we get to it.
No, yes, please.
But until then, we're going to talk about track 4, Burn a Miracle. song name. Good song.
Let me tell you, this is what I have written in my notes, okay? I said it's fun intro on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And what it actually kicks into, not really my jam. Until around 33 seconds. That is my jam. And then I wrote, do you like this song? Yeah. Do I want to listen to it again? Yeah.
Yeah, so this was the lead single from this album, which this goes back to a question I had before of bands used to release singles and go to radio. Where are songs going now? I don't know, but
It doesn't matter because is this song good? Yeah.
Okay, so this one, let me know it's going to be big from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those things of like, upon first listen, it was, I don't love that start. But then I would say a little bit later than that because I like 44 seconds where they clean it up. Like, and they do it rather quickly, but not, abruptly.
Step inside my mind and take a picture of it. I can't let it polarize. Waiting on the next attraction.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, they went heavy and now they've gone clean. Okay. But the song is really good. I really like what's happening. But it was one of those things, going back to what I said before, but I was having a hard time taking notes at certain points. And I kind of did between 44 seconds and then the break beat that we got at 141.
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture of it.
Because I was not expecting that.
Man, this song is another one that just like I really had like just a roller coaster ride with, because especially the first time you listen to some of these songs, you don't know where it's going to go,
Nope.
And again, those sections, I guess they're the part of the verses where it's mostly like you can hear some feedback and some little guitar noises, but it's mostly like the bass and the drums, and he's got that big clean voice. That is like if Chris Voles sang for Finch. Like it's like, yes, all of these things that I really enjoy happening all together. And then this one, I don't want to jump to the end of the song. If you got some more stuff to talk about, I won't jump to the end yet.
Well, I think 207 to 222 may be my favorite section on this entire album.
Interesting.
Now that everybody's watching, bleeding out again. I love the way it hurts.
Yeah. And it's not that nothing else on this album is good, but just I genuinely love that section of music there.
It's got a vibe.
It does have a vibe. But what also has a vibe is the dropout we get on Let It Burn at 242.
Okay, so you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but
I already do, but go ahead.
When you listen to enough nu metal and butt rock as I do, you make these comparisons. You know what this section reminded me of? The part that starts around that like 243 or so?
What?
Again, I'm hearing that Say Hello to Sunshine vibe, but it also was giving me a little bit of like Breaking Benjamin.
How did I know you were going to say that?
So you hear it too. Like,
okay, so
there's the big low heavy chords with kind of like the high pitch dissonant, which is kind of that move.
What I said is from after the dropout, it sounds like Breaking Benjamin does math rock.
Yep.
And that is actually a complaint I have within this, where I've already talked
I knew
about.
You wouldn't like that.
Well, I've already talked about that. There's a fair amount of butt rock influence within this album, and I feel like we get a little butt peek, little peek at the butt,
little crack, just a little crack there.
Yeah, just the top of the crack, just the coin slot, and that's cool. I didn't hate that section. I didn't love the song nearly as much as you did, but I still thought it was fun, and it was really not that long to make me hate the section or make me dislike it at all, because it was, I counted it all out. I have timestamps galore. So 2:43 to 3:12, and then we get really fun guitar work. And then it goes out on, like you talk about how bands sometimes will chop it up. And yeah, here I feel like we got a metalcore chop up.
You know what the outro on this one reminded me of a lot?
What?
So we've heard the screamo, the post-hardcore, all these things, math rock. Now this outro is giving me just a little taste of what do we want to call this? Southern post-hardcore? Like it had a little bit of that, like, Every Time I Die, He Is Legend, kind of like raunchy guitar hardcore kind of stuff that and I always think it's funny because Every Time I Die is from New York, but you know what I mean? Like it has those like Southern riffs, you know. And I got a little bit of that there at the end. Yeah.
And you know, I feel like it's more in the way of He Is Legend than Maylene and Sons of Disaster.
Agreed.
You know, even though Maylene is a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. But, you know, you definitely get that Southern rock, you know, influence within it. And, you know, you and I, we've talked about how we're fans of Every Time I Die and He Is Legend, and we should do a He Is Legend album at some point. But,
you know what? I do want to do a He Is Legend album. I just don't know which one to pick because
Suck Out the Poison.
I have, yes, but Few is so damn good. And
it is.
Even I Am Hollywood is good.
It is.
They're all
good.
Interesting. You're right. That's the thing. And they all make for a good conversation because they all are different in their own ways. Even White Bat is good. Even that one's good.
Yeah, I think that's the one I've listened to the least, but I did like it when I did listen to it. So, yeah. I don't know. I haven't listened to He Is Legend in quite a while.
Listeners, if we pick a He Is Legend album, what He Is Legend album should we do? We'll leave it up to probably Cody. He'll be the only one that answers.
All right. So Cody, thank you for suggesting this album, and we really enjoy this album, and I'm sure you'll listen to this episode. So let us know what He Is Legend album we should do. If you haven't listened to He Is Legend, you should. You'll probably like it considering that you really like this album.
I was going to say, everybody is either going to Cody is going to select an album by He Is Legend we should do. Everybody else is going to go, who is He Is Legend?
Yeah. Listener, I say because, I know who we are. I'm aware. But yeah, if you haven't listened to He Is Legend, you should. And we're not here to promote He Is Legend, but they're just a good band. They're a lot of fun live. So much fun live.
If you're going to listen to a podcast about an album by Greyhaven, you probably know who He Is Legend is.
True. All right. So I do love the vocals on the outro during that metalcore chop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a cool song. Yeah. He says yeah a lot.
He does. Okay, track 5, Where the Light Leaves Us. I was going to say, Greyhaven has good album titles overall. You know, I don't love this album title, but at the same time, it's like, it's a good name.
You mean song title?
Song title. What did I say? Album title? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is where I was feeling so much less of all of the influences that we have talked about already. And this is where I really felt like they slowed it down the best thrice way possible.
I thought about that too. I was like, I bet Danger's going to like this one a lot. And I actually like it more than I thought I was going to when it first started. Because,
did you listen to it thrice times?
Oh, more than thrice. Yeah. What is Keenson set? More than thrice.
No, we're not doing one of those.
15? No, I think it's a little. I don't think I got through 15 times.
No.
But so I actually really like this one too because I was a little bit nervous we were going to get a little boom clappy during this during that intro, but when
boom
it kicks in, yeah, you know that fake folk kind of stuff I hate. But when it comes in, The bass is kind of busy, the drums are kind of busy, and it gives it more energy.
I need help lately, and I feel ugly.
And then when it does go to the chorus, it is a totally appropriate chorus, but it sounds like Greyhaven. Like it fits the vibe of this song, but it's heavy and got the dissonant guitars and stuff. It's very cool.
How does it end? Always chasing me out to glow.
See, I thought that even though the beginning, like I said, they slowed it down in a very Thrice kind of way, I feel like they slowed it down in a Thrice way, but it was Greyhaven that listened to Thrice, and they weren't trying to emulate Thrice, but they just kind of had that feel to it. And then at 56 seconds, it becomes a full-on Greyhaven song.
Right.
Yeah, and I was cool with that. And it wasn't an intro that I was like, man, this is a really good intro. But I feel like it was an intro that worked after the song that we just came from. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about, the dynamics of this album. They don't do anything inappropriate to start a song from where a song ended. But if a song ended in a more of a chaotic, or in this case, a metalcore chop kind of way, it gave us an intro that let us breathe for about a minute. And then, but it slowed it down, but it didn't lose the momentum of it.
No, like it felt like, again, I hate bringing up the same record over and over, but it reminds me of Say Hello to Sunshine when they do like a quote unquote slower song. It still has all the weird chords and the dark lyrics and imagery. It still is a Finch Say Hello to Sunshine song. This feels like Keep It Quiet, Greyhaven. Like it totally makes sense. It's just a slower tempo version.
Yeah.
And then to your point, before it's over, we go back to that He Is Legend kind of like chuggy thing at the very end there.
Right. But what I felt like in this one, this is where I started to go, okay, I need to pay attention to lyrics, because this is the first time I have a lyrical note where I feel like where the pacing slowed a little bit, the momentum was not lost, but it did allow for what I felt like was more of like a self-reflective kind of lyric within the song, because if you look at the lyrics, it seems like it's more of a song about addiction, basically, because the lyric that stuck out to me is where he says, it tastes like my addiction until I fall asleep.
It tastes like my addiction until I fall asleep.
Now, I don't know if he is comparing addiction to drugs or a drug, whatever, to a person, but, whatever. I don't know. I feel like this was controlled chaos around addiction.
That's very possible. I really like, I don't know the full line, but it's probably the best pronunciation of the word guillotine I've ever heard at 3:07.
Is that the one you were talking about?
What?
Well, in the beginning, like I was talking about, like there was no awkward wording within this.
No.
Okay.
No, the way he says, McLean, my guillotine. Like, I like that. Like, that's great. And I knew exactly what he was saying. It's actually the next song. It sounds like he's saying something else.
It's very much I don't know, your imitation of it is very much a Lemmy pronunciation of it. Yeah.
I'm coming to the realization that I am not a great singer.
No. Which, by the way, listeners, I did go watch Monster's Korn tribute band play, and I think the most surprising thing is that Monster did some singing.
Well, the nice thing is I wear a mask that covers my mouth, so you don't hear it very clearly.
Well, I think the nice thing is it wasn't mixed very loud, so we couldn't hear it.
Of all the vocalists, I am the quietest, and for good reason.
Even though his face was covered, I knew which one he was, and he went to that microphone. That's how I knew he was doing it. Okay, so what I thought was great about this one is I feel like the entire thing, like I said, controlled chaos, because it felt like they had complete control over everything at all times, and they were able to move again smoothly between the quiet and the heavier parts. But it's like every place they put a quiet part, it made the heavy part hit harder.
I agree. And I think that's what makes that outro as hit as hard as it does, because it does have like it doesn't necessarily build into it, but it's just like that we've had this song that has sort of this kind of moody vibe, and then it ends in such a, rocked up heavy way.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on to talk about track 6, Night in October. Now, okay, I do want to point out that we've not had long songs with any of this, and even the longest one here, 4 minutes, 2 seconds, does not feel like a long song. That was track 4, Burn a Miracle. And this one is 3:24. So they are doing a great job of not overstaying their welcome. And they're giving us enough dynamics within a song to where it doesn't feel exhausting by any means. And this is a 3.5 to 4 minute band. I don't think that going over, 4 minutes is needed. We do get an example of that later on, but
And what's really cool is that for the most part, we make the joke that if you're going to do a 4 or 5 minute long song, you got to make it worthwhile. Like, you got to do something. Well, these songs are like in the 3 to 4 minute range, and they all do stuff. Like, there's so many little parts, and multiple, there's like, okay, this is the verse, this is the chorus, this is the bridge, this is like a variation of the first verse, this is a little outro piece we haven't heard yet. So all, like you said, put into just 3-4 minutes, and it's great. Yeah, it's the songwriting on here is a little bit head and shoulders above a lot of their contemporaries.
And what I'll say is, in 3.5 to 4 minutes, they do more than a lot of other bands do in 6 minutes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't sound crowded. So, yeah.
So this is the song where the opening line to this song, I heard wrong every single time until I looked at the lyrics today, because at around 17 seconds or so, when he starts singing, I could have sworn he says, I woke up nude in the backyard.
I woke up nude in the backyard.
We've all been there.
Which that's exactly what I thought was, okay, this song is relatable. But he actually says, I woke up kneeling in the backyard. Now, I've listened to it multiple times. I do not hear the word kneeling, but whatever you say.
I did not hear kneeling. I did not hear nude. I heard kneeling.
You liar. You just don't want to join the club.
No. If I heard nude, I would tell you. I have said far more embarrassing things on this show. I did not hear nude. I heard kneeling every time. Because the first note I have here is they did a really good job of making a song that feels cold.
Very. I agree with that. This does feel cold. I agree.
Yes. Like kneeling in the backyard in October.
That's true. Yep.
And also being nude in the backyard in October would be
that
cold
would also
as well,
make you cold. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But okay.
What makes you say October? Oh, that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
I was looking through the lyrics. I was like, you don't say shit about October. Oh, it's a song title.
Yeah. They don't say anything about October in the song, except for the first line that grabs your attention, the name of the damn song.
I think it's pretty well implied.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the song name gave us the time of year this is. Halloween is near.
Whoopsie doodle.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I feel like they do a really good job of creating a song that feels cold until the chorus where it gets big and angry, but it still feels very much in control. And it feels chilly at that point. It doesn't have the same, cold feeling, but it feels like, I don't know. Okay, it feels like you're at a metal show in the winter and like somebody keeps opening the door to the club and it's letting gusts of wind in.
Is this a concept record? I don't think so. Is it a vibe record? I would say just about, because even though there are some more chaotic songs and there are some more slower songs, like we just got done saying, nothing feels out of place here,
Right, definitely. But can we take a minute to appreciate what happens at 113?
I do like that. It has a very spacey, trippy kind of feel during that.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel out of place within it, but it definitely like kind of caught me off guard, but it was just like, oh, this is good. I like this. It slowed, but it didn't really slow down. Like, again, going back to it slows, but doesn't lose the momentum of things. And it does that up until about 128. And then it's like, this is the kind of mixing that I appreciate. I like a person that's on a soundboard that's in control, because at 128, the drums are up front, the guitars are more pushed to the back. And I like what's happening there. And then at 156, the guitars come back to the front. And so it just kind of was this, I don't know, I felt engaged during that point. And I liked everything that was happening, but it was like a shift within the sound of things that it was, kind of going back to that dynamics deal. But I kind of feel like at that point would have been a good place to kind of push the bass up a little bit or do a bass nugget and give us something a little bit extra. But at the same time, I didn't have a complaint about any of it.
And for me, I'm enjoying all that. I'm having a good time. And then the part that starts around 223 elevates it again for me. Like, I like the way that it kicks in. It gets a little bit groovier. I love the line, a heart attack with everyone involved.
Like a heart attack with everyone involved. Try to fight it back.
I don't know what that means, but that's a good line.
Yeah. It is a good line. Cool. But it's funny because I said at 224, it gets real butt rocky.
Well, that's why I like it.
I know. But I didn't hate the butt rocky part, which, by the way, so I used Google Sheets to take all of my notes for these episodes. Mm-hmm. And it kept giving me a little squiggly line on it, like questioning if butt rocky is a thing.
Well, again, not to derail us even further, but it's better than a rocky butt.
True. But you know what? A rocky butt? A butt post?
Yeah. I would like to see the post butt after the rocky butt syndrome surgery performed.
This was just a thing that was existing, but you just made it a condition.
Like, why is there so much butt talk on this album?
I really don't know. Okay. So I didn't hate the butt rock part, but where we had it a little before, and it's never like overbearing at this point to where I'm like, it's a problem. It's always still, butt rock, math rock kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. And so I'm okay with it. And then I do like the drop down that happens at 253. And I had to question it because it felt like it was going to be a false ending, but it was just, they kept the sound going enough because it comes back up at the end. And I was good with that. And it was almost enough to forgive the butt rock part of things.
It's sort of a play on that part you brought up earlier, that 114, 13 area where it gets kind of spacey and trippy. It's kind of like that, just a little bit thicker. But then I don't know. I found the outro to be kind of a play on some of the earlier motifs, but almost in a creepier way. I thought it was a cool way to go out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun there. But let's talk about track 7, Technicolor Blues. Is this the one that you said we're going to fight about?
I think we're going to fight on this one.
I don't think we're going to fight as much as you think.
Okay.
Because this is a bluesy butt rock campfire song.
Uh-huh. And?
I still like it, though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I still like
we're good.
So what I will say about this is the one place in the album that I don't feel like the end of a song works with the beginning of a song. because I do feel like the beginning of this one is quite different than the way that track 6 just went out. Even though, I don't know, his vocals are great on this one. I do
absolutely
love his vocals here. But I don't know. I was not expecting a butt rock blues campfire song.
This song, to me, I think is a song that more bands in this genre, I don't want to say need to do, but I feel like a lot of the bands that we hear today doing these dissonant chords and doing all this weird stuff would not exist if you didn't have bands from the 90s that started doing it first. And some of those bands would be, obviously, you know, like I mentioned Korn all the time, and a lot of metal guys, modern metal guys, talk about how influential the guitars were there, whatever. But like the grunge stuff, you know, like your Alice in Chains and your Soundgarden and stuff. This sounds like a math rock band that is fully entrenched in this genre of modern screamo metalcore stuff, paying homage to 90s era grunge. And I don't know why it works so perfectly, but they nail it. And I think a huge part of it is because of his vocals, because in the hands of a lesser singer, this falls apart. But because he has this voice, it reminded me a lot of, again, of like a He Is Legend kind of song, because same thing, they can pull off a song like this. A lot of bands can. So whether you like it or you dislike it, you got to commend them for being able to pull off something this sort of like romanticized grunge kind of song. You just don't hear stuff like this anymore. And I'm very thankful to hear this song. I love this song.
See, I didn't feel the grunge in this, but I do understand what you're saying, that they're paying homage to those bands, but I did not feel grunge within this. Now, I will say that I genuinely like this song up until 147. But before 147, the guitar at 121 is just so good. It's just good there.
It keeps me here.
That 121 is Billy Talent. That sounds exactly like Billy Talent guitars to me, which of course I like that.
And I said plenty of times with that Billy Talent album that I like what was happening musically all over that album.
Yeah.
But at 147, it ramps up into a post-hardcore bro country song.
I take a part and take a look in my heart. I never wanted to be fair.
Yeah, it goes into an incredibly well-written, catchy, anthemic rock chorus that is perfection and should sell millions of records in a honest world. I'm not surprised you don't like it. I think it's a highlight of this record. I think the song is incredible, and that's a great chorus.
It is a good chorus. I was caught off guard by this song because of what, controlled chaos this album has been.
Sure.
For 6 tracks, and then all of a sudden we get this, and it's so different. And I did go back and listen to it on its own to kind of, get it without the influence of everything before it. And I still felt the same way. Now, I will say the solo that we got at 214 was a good solo.
Mm-hmm.
But just like we've complained about plenty of times in the past, he won't shut up for the solo. Like, he is singing over top of the solo. Like, I think he's got like a note that carries out over it. He lets his voice, kind of, do its thing. He doesn't do a bunch of words over top of it. But what I thought was interesting is, and I had to like listen to this and kind of pick it apart, where it's almost like he is carrying the note out over the solo. And then like, as the solo ends, his distorted vocals start. And I thought that was cool. I did think that was a cool thing, but it does stay post-hardcore bro country until the very end.
One of the other things I really dig about that solo is the guitar player on this record can shred. He's an incredible guitar player.
He is.
This solo is not technical. It's not shreddy. It is melodic and it fits the vibe of the song perfectly. There's something to be said about a guitar player that is this technically sound, but willing to go into this direction for this type of a song. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, it almost sounds like after the solo, the singer, the way I described it was, it sounds like he's singing through like a metal pipe, because it has this like echoey kind of sound that I think is a really neat sound. It's almost like the yeah on the Collective Soul song.
You can hear that, right here.
Where Ed is singing through a toilet paper roll. So
yes.
I think this is the again, paying homage. He's probably singing through a some kind
paper
of
towel tube.
Yeah, exactly. A steel version to make it more metal.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't hate this song, but what I did appreciate about this one is they completely demonstrate that they can write a good, cohesive song that's outside of the genre that they have established themselves in before this. Now, I mentioned that the previous albums, I felt like were a lot more math rocky and, chaotic and whatnot. Fine. And I mean, they're what I heard was fine, was good. This album is way better, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This album is a big step up for them. But the sudden drop off that we got at 322. Now, I don't have a lot of complaints about the endings of these songs, and I've complained about the endings of songs in the past on other albums, but the sudden drop off that we got at 322. I really wish that they had, because the guitars do kick in heavier towards the end of the song. I do wish they did a fade out on that, which I know I'm voting for a fade out, but I do wish they had done that, because the switch to the acoustic that they do at the very end does not set up the next song.
No, but it is how the song started. So I like it as sort of a bookend to this song. And the way the next song starts, it's sort of hard to have anything from Technicolor Blues that would lead into it in any sort of coherent way.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's talk about that one in track 8, Satellite in Love.
Kinetic souls, I saw you in the distance, a satellite in love.
So when I read the title of this one, I just imagined like two satellites like orbiting the Earth. And then, occasionally, the orbit will get off a little bit and, a satellite will see the other one and go, oh, there's that satellite. Okay, bye. And, just forever on the other side of the Earth.
Oh, how sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
So we might fight a little bit on this one. I'm curious. I think we're both going to like this song a lot, but for the opposite reasons.
So I do like this one more than I like the other one, but I don't like this one for the reasons that you do like it.
Right, because the first minute of this song is fine. I think the guitars are interesting. I think a lot of it's kind of cool. But at 102, when that chorus kicks in, where you're going to say the butt rock has made its appearance.
Walk around the center, you want it to unfold. Your eyes so fatalistic, your body.
I'm very much into the chorus.
Yeah, so I said the album takes on a different feel here. Maybe I feel differently about this one because of the Bro Country slow jam that we just got, but this song has more butt rock moments within it. And I love that intro. I love the intro on this song.
Yeah.
And I feel the first line states their intentions for this song. First line of the song is, pull me out a broken window, drag me out to sea.
Pull me out a broken window, throw me out into the sea. I see.
Okay, we are we're saving or killing.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I do like the chorus on this one because I feel like, yes, the butt rock things are starting to flare up. And I feel like this was a butt rock a post butt rock, a post butt
Not again.
chorus. Yeah. I don't know. I do like the chorus, but I'm going to go back to, I like this song more than the one before it, but I still don't love this one. And this is a part of the album where I do drop a little bit, the 7, 8, 9, 10. Like it's all kind of a drop for me because I feel like this is where they did go a little bit more butt rock and it the post-hardcore butt rock.
I think this is a really good song that it really comes down to what kind of vocals you like, because I feel like had the chorus been more scream singed or he had that like more high pitched nasally kind of clean, it would not feel quite as butt rock as we, you know what I mean? Like that we feel it is, because it is at the heart a chaotic math rock screamo kind of song. It just has this big ass hooky chorus, which again, right up my alley. I love that, like that, juxtaposition of those two things together, right up my alley, totally in. But I can see why somebody else who, again, you're used to Finch vocals, you're used to Burt McCracken, you're used to whatever, hearing that kind of singing with that lower register, the butt sounds bigger.
Yes, there's a big butt.
There's a bigger butt here.
Okay, so what I felt like this one is this. Okay, so I know that they wrote this as an album, but I do feel like this was one where they had 3 different parts or 3 different songs and they wanted to put them together, but it still sounds cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is you have the post-hardcore section, the math rocky bit, and then you've got butt rock, flares all throughout it. But then in the second verse of this song, you get these like bursts of like what I was calling a punk snare with this awesome guitar, just a awesome punk snare, just happening throughout it. And it would just be bursts of these things happening. Mm-hmm. And so that's where it kind of felt like, it feels like 3 different songs that are put together, but it all works together. It's not, I'm not talking shit about it by any means, but what I will talk shit about is the butt rock bridge. It's a full-on butt rock bridge.
Again, I like it. Like I definitely know what you're saying, but his voice is so good, man. Like
I'm not saying he doesn't have a good voice. I feel like it's almost like they, had these little butt rock flares, these little butt flares. Then they dropped the flare for the bridge.
But I still say that if you took his voice out and you put somebody screaming in that section, you would not be saying it sounded butt rock. It will just sound quote unquote like more melodic. It's that voice. That's what's bringing you back to butt.
I don't know. We all go back to butt eventually.
It's hard not to.
I don't know. This was one, like I said, I like this one more than the song we got before this, but this was not a higher ranking song for me on the off of this album. I feel like this is where we actually got kind of the transition into butt, a butt morph, if you will. And there's a lot of butt talk here. But
welcome to Butt Talk, our third spin-off show.
Well, welcome to Butt Talk with Monster. I'm not going to be on that one.
Yes, you will.
I'm going to be a guest every episode. Never an actual member. You're going to
be the thumbnail for it.
Damn it. Okay. Don't use my thumbnail like that horrible album cover, the Scrape album.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 319. The note I have here is, so we got another vocal recording, but this one about financial trouble.
Hello, if I just bring him on to help assistance, I know I could make a go of it. Could make ends meet then.
Yeah, this one's kind of hard to listen to. It sounds like a really old man basically being kicked out of his home. That's what it sounds like to me. And it's hard to listen to. I definitely listened to it a couple of times and then a subsequent listens skipped over it because it is hard.
No, that's fine. And the thing about it is it's not hard to listen to from like an audio standpoint. It's just hard to listen to an old man talk about that kind of thing. So
yeah.
All right. Track 9, From the Backseat of a Moving Car.
Break apart from everything I see. Brake lights, I don't ever stop when I'm
Now, what are they doing from the backseat of the moving car? Not in the backseat of a moving car. Are they jumping from the backseat? Are they... I didn't listen to the lyric. I didn't read lyrics on this one.
It's hard to say. I don't know what any of the lyrics mean on any of these songs. This is definitely a song that is all over the place lyrically. I have no idea what he's talking about, but it feels like it could be like a connective song to Understanding in a Car Crash by Thursday.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Definitely feels like that. I didn't make that connection, but yeah,
just the titles.
Yeah, that's fine. I feel like we could probably make a story out of the titles of songs from post-hardcore emo scene. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so I want the song that is the beginning of this song.
Step under the veil and let me be near it again.
Yeah, the intro is cool, but I will say that this song to me, I know what you were saying about like 7 and 8. That's kind of how I feel about this one. This one to me, it does have some things happening in it that I like, but just the overall feeling, this one's kind of weak for me.
So, okay, I didn't love this one either. I just looked at my scores that I wrote down. I actually like this one more than the one before. I actually did rate it a little bit higher. But what I thought was interesting is this one is how, I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to go through my notes here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I do like the echo that it gets put on his vocals in that, I think it was the first verse. But the guitar change that they gave us in the first verse just felt confusing.
I can't believe my stomach's pushing me out. I feel just like
It felt off-putting almost.
For as good as these guys have been about mixing the heavy with the clean and the dissonant with the hook, this one's not as smooth. This one feels a little bit more disjointed and just not quite as connected as a lot of those previous songs.
Now, I will say that once the guitars change there in the first verse, they do remain intricate without becoming overly math rock. And I like that. It was almost like pre-algebra rock.
I hate you. God. What is that?
I don't know. It's like it didn't become... It's almost like it didn't become difficult to count to. And I don't know, even though it wasn't a rhythm to it, but either way. Okay. But then at 1:45, I noticed they started building tension. Mm-hmm. Like they started trying to do that building tension thing again.
Brake lights, I don't ever stop when I'm in need.
And then I feel like the payoff came at 2:13 and it wasn't worth it. The payoff just wasn't there.
Yeah, it's just more chaotic guitars with big vocals, which, sounds great. It's one of those things that, is this a bad song? No. But after hearing songs like Shatter and Burst and Show Me Where You Are and Burn a Miracle, it's like, this one just ain't up there. Like, this is a cool song. It does all the same moves. It's just not hitting as hard as those are. But let's stop beating around the bush with these little things here or there. Because at 3:22, we might have to fight some more. I don't know. But for me, that section almost makes listening to this song worthwhile.
Bring me a fire, and I'll do anything you want me to. When that's the same as you.
So I said it should start ending at 3:22. I said 3:21. Sorry, I said it should start ending at 3:21. Yeah. What is time? Yeah. So I said it should start ending there. I do like his vocal rhythm, but I don't feel like anything was needed at that point. But I do feel like that's where it should have started coming to a close. And I don't think it should have taken to 3:55 to get to a close.
So you said you want the song that this song begins with.
Yeah.
I want the song that this song ends with.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the other 3.5 minutes that neither one of us want.
Okay, yeah. So I want the beginning, you want the end, and we'll just never get it.
No, I will probably never listen to that song from start to finish again, but I might jump to 321 if I'm feeling peckish.
All right, let's talk about track 10, Diamond to Diamond. So I just want to tell you, out of curiosity, just try to look up different things about this after I finished my notes and all. I searched Greyhaven Diamond to Diamond. What I didn't realize, though, is that for some reason my keyboard or whatever didn't catch the Greyhaven part and just put Diamond to Diamond. And Diamond to Diamond is the name of a 1973 pornographic film. Yeah.
So instead of listening to this song, you watched that movie 3 or 4 times and took notes?
No, I didn't watch it because I couldn't find it. But yeah, no, in all actuality, I didn't actually look for it. But no, it was I saw it pop up.
I think I got it laying around here somewhere. Hold on. Let me check.
Check the vintage porn shelf.
No, see, I thought Diamond to Diamond was like a really cool, like Neil Diamond cover band.
Yeah, that may be a cool Neil Diamond cover. It's almost like the guys in Saving Silverman should have named their band Diamond to Diamond.
Instead of Diamonds in the Rough.
Yeah. So okay, I feel like this song is full metalcore butt rock.
This is by far my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah. This is the song that I have the least amount of notes for off of this album.
Dude, same. I don't have a single timestamp. I literally, the first thing I wrote is, this is the first song that didn't impact me. I find myself just drifting off every time I listen to it. It feels very fillerish.
Okay, so I do have a timestamp I said this song feels like we have gone full metalcore butt rock. There is a change at 137, and it's so different from what was happening that I'm not convinced that it's not from a different song. And then I put the chorus, that is genuinely a good chorus, sounds completely different from the rest of the song.
Again, it's one of those things that's like, it's not doing anything wrong.
No.
It's just, we've been spoiled by the first half of this album. Like,
Greyhaven, you made such a damn good album, like, front half.
Yes. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
I put it this way. I think From the Backseat of a Moving Car and Diamond to Diamond are two of my least favorite songs on this record. I still think they're better than a lot of other stuff coming out of bands right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is like, because to me, these are fine songs. They don't have quite the songwriting strength that some of these earlier songs had. And so while they're using a lot of the same moves, there is catchy vocals, there is some cool guitar licks. It's just not as memorable as some of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. I am going to 100% agree with what you said, that they're not bad songs, they're not doing anything wrong, but they are a lot better than stuff that we're getting out of other ones. And let's just take a minute before we close out this album and talk about how this sounds like a same room album. It sounds like they're in the same room, and it does not sound like they have, I don't know, invested half their recording budget into sets, and they have this whole symphony, and there's not a single
Nope.
No, there's none of that. This sounds like guys with instruments. And while I do like the synthy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely like this stuff.
I think that's another reason I enjoy this so much, is this, for as chaotic as it is, for as screamy as it is at some points, there's not a million wave sounds and atmosphere and synth layers. It sounds like a rock band playing rock songs. Yes, I agree 100%. That's another reason that I give this more credit than a lot of bands right now, because it does sound different in that respect.
And we have not had a single time where every frequency is filled. And I think that has lent itself a lot to the fact that we're not so fatigued at the end of this.
I agree.
I agree. And now I will say that by the time we got to track 11, Cemetery Sun, I was kind of just done listening to this album. Not that I was overly tired, but it's like we just went through a whole stretch where it was just kind of like very meh about. So, by the time I got to this one, it was, okay, let's listen to this one. And I gotta say, that guitar open, that caught me. I was not expecting to just, be like, oh, I'm awake again.
I was really curious what this last song was going to do, because a lot of times bands that are this way, the last song will be more of a ballad.
Right.
But because we sort of were kind of in ballad territory with the last couple songs, it's like, well, we're either going to go real slow or maybe they'll surprise me. And I'll be honest with you, it surprised me. I think the guitar at the beginning of the song is really cool. The super busy guitars with the screaming on top. I like that sometimes, but that's not my favorite flavor of what Greyhaven does. But again, getting big every time I die, he is legend kind of vibes. And then about the time your ears are like, okay, this is too much, we go into this chorus that's almost like you got sort of like the low register singing with almost like these Korn style high pitched little notes. It's like, this is a cool vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely a good closer to this album because it definitely picked it back up. And what I said was that it feels like up until about 150, it feels like, I'm glad that we had the same time for once, but it almost has that Southern rock mathcore feel to it.
I'm on the edge of a knife. I feel fine. I feel much better when I'm coming around for your spine.
And I don't say Southern rock in a Leonard Skinner kind of way. I say Southern rock in a, he is legend kind of way. And I know we keep going back to the same bands, but I mean, it's kind of hard for two people who listen to as much music as we do to not pick up on these things and admit. But once again, not ripping off anybody, but definitely just using them as influences on. And that's cool. Now, at 150, we do get that energy drop, but it doesn't go away. It still is what it is. It's still there. Because then at 219, it picks back up, but it's less thrashy than before. It's got a different feel to it, but not like I've said on other ones where it feels like it's a different song that they just threw in here. No, it feels like the same song. It's just what I realized that they're doing is this is the closer. They're not going out on leaving you on this overwhelmed, exhausted. They kind of leave it more reflective almost.
Yeah. That little middle section to me almost gave me a little bit of like a Deftones vibe. Again,
but less whiny.
Yes, the vocals again kind of color it its own thing, which I sincerely appreciate. What's his name? Brent?
Yeah, Brent something. Hang on, let me get back up to that in my notes here. Brent Mills.
Brent Mills. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, when you
it's a very okay. So sorry, Brent, if you listen to this, you've got a very plain name for some crazy vocals that you have.
I just think it's wild that in a band with musicians that are this damn good, I think Brent's the MVP. I think his vocals really set this band apart. Now, that could also be a deterrent depending on what you're into, because I do think his vocals, like you said, some of the butt rock bro country moments are because his tone of voice. But for me, I like all that stuff too. So it's just like, I like it better when he's doing that than when he's screaming. But I think he's super versatile, and yeah, I think he's the real MVP.
So I would be inclined to agree with you, but I don't feel like I feel like he's a great vocalist. I feel like he has some great range and some great ability about himself, but what his voice can do would not be what it is without the band and
I agree.
And the skill that they have. So while he may be your MVP, I'm going to say all these guys are shared a trophy.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but if you told me, hey, you should listen to this band, it's the guitar player and the bass player from Greyhaven, and then you had some, more generic metalcore singer on top of it, I don't know that I would jump to listen to it. But if you told me, hey, Brent Mills is the singer of this other band that does, a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that or whatever, it's like, I want to listen to that. I will go check that out because I'm curious to see what he sounds like over any kind of project,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. That's fair. All right. And now with that, we have closed out this Greyhaven album. And let me ask you a question, Monster. What's new with you?
Hey, good looking. Cooking.
So there are some moments here or there, but I think from start to finish, I would say, show me where you are. I think that one has just a little bit of a groove and a bounce that some of the other songs don't have. I almost said Technicolor Blues, almost because probably my favorite song on the album, but it feels more 90s alt grunge than it does new. So I'm going to go with Show Me Who You Are. And Danger Was Cooking.
Well, I think this may be the start of our cycles becoming in sync, because I also think Show Me Where You Are. Is a really good cooking song. No, I actually listened to this a couple times during cooking, and it just, I don't know, it is rather chaotic for cooking, and you don't want chaotic music while you've got a lot of things going on. But I don't know, Show Me Where You Are just worked. It just did.
Man.
And sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I know a lot of times we try to pick who's going to be higher. I have a feeling we're going to be super close.
We may be close. I have a feeling that you're going to be higher than me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure though, but
I'll let you go first.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sure. Okay. I was not familiar with Greyhaven before taking Keep It Quiet on. I think this album may be misnamed. They do not keep it quiet, and that was very much to my surprise. It is nice to listen to an album that feels like it was written as such. This is a melodic and heavy, emotional and haunting. This album has volume, that is for sure. Greyhaven has taken mathcore and given it some post-hardcore flavor for the first 2/3 of this album. We get a campfire blues jam that's not bad at all. I feel like it was unexpected, but after that, butt rock replaces the mathcore. We do get a run of post-buttcore, and that's just not for me. So I gave this album a 6.55.
Okay.
I'm going to say the buttcore section, it hurt this one for me. But
that's fine.
I did like it overall.
Listeners, if you could give us a butt count at the end of this episode, and that's 1 T or 2, I want to hear all the butts, because I feel like we might
have said
hit triple
butt
digits
more in this episode than any other one. All right, are you ready?
God. Yes.
But.
Machine gun.
Oh, a butt gun.
Oh, well, sometimes it's that way. Okay.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here.
Cody, I hope you appreciate all the butt. All right, Monster, give us your closing statement.
Greyhaven is a name I've seen on show flyers and heard mentioned in conversations with a lot of other hardcore, post-hardcore, and screamo bands. I never really thought to give them a listen. So when a request came in, I got excited, but also nervous. I'm always a little nervous when a request comes in because if this is a really important band to somebody and I really don't want to come in too negatively. Well, not to worry because I ended up really enjoying Keep It Quiet by Greyhaven. While it definitely fits into all those categories I mentioned before, there is a lot of fun twists and turns throughout the album. Gnarly metal riffs, chaotic dynamics, and enough bounce and groove to warm my cold nu metal heart. I hear moments of lots of other bands I like I Wrestled a Bear Once, Finch, He Is Legend, Flaw, and others. Other than one or two songs, this album really cooks and keeps me engaged. Definitely glad we gave this one a listen, and I plan on digging deeper into the Greyhaven catalog when I can. 1 to 10, I said 7.09. I've debated high 6, low 7, and I think this gets over to the 7 hump. I really do. Just a smidge, but yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of went back and forth with my score, and I just settled on 6.55.
I feel like when I'm in the zone and I'm listening to the album, I'm pretty much on board. But I can already tell, just like going through this conversation, if I'm being honest with myself, there's like 4 or 5 songs that I think are just great. And then the rest is like, I like this part, but I don't love this. This is really good, but it goes on too long or whatever. So it's kind of like, that mid 6 to mid 7 range is going to be somewhere in there, depending on my mood.
Yeah, and so that was kind of where I ended up at the 6.55.
Yeah.
And depending on your mood is something that I did find within this because I had a rough weekend, as you know, and I didn't really want to return to this one. I still gave it a listen during that, and it felt different during that.
I bet.
So, yeah.
I mean, after having to watch me play 16 Korn songs,
I said it was a rough weekend.
Well,
so
while dressed like a zombie ninja or something, I don't know what I was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. You were trying. You were.
I had cool hair though.
You had hair. All right. And Monster gave Greyhaven's Keep It Quiet a 7.09, and I gave it a 6.55, giving it an overall average of 6.82, putting it into the 43rd position, just above Protest the Hero and just below Bloodywood.
Yes, please. Is this outdoor? Do I have to sit in the lawn? I'd like seats very close, please.
Yeah, so while I don't feel like they would fit on tour with Bloodywood, I think that'd be a fun show, but I do feel like I feel like Greyhaven and Protest the Hero would fit on tour for sure. And just below Protest the Hero is The Used, so and below that is the Ongoing Concept. So I feel like that's a big tour altogether.
Well, and Bloodywood, I mean, they are more new, but they're super aggressive, and that I think Greyhaven could totally play with Bloodywood and be just fine. I mean,
they could probably hold their own for sure.
Hell, they're taking Cheem out on tour. Cheem's more rap rock bouncy stuff. So yeah, anyway.
True.
Cool. Yeah, I'm down for that.
So if you disagree with the score that we've given this album, then please shoot us an email at breakdownsbreakfast@gmail.com or head on over to one of our social media platforms, Facebook, X, or Instagram, and let us know what you thought about this episode, or comment on this episode just like Cody has done on plenty of other episodes, how we end up listening to this great album.
Yes, thank you, Cody, for not only suggesting this album, but just being cool and commenting on stuff and listening to everything. I think you've listened to more episodes than I have, so that's great.
I mean, Phil from Philly, you got to catch up.
Oh, yeah, whatever happened to Phil? Is he still around?
Phil from Philly is still around. We did get some requests from Mr. Philly, and we'll be doing one of those requests in the near future.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that. Thanks for the update. Look, I'm
Spoiler
tired.
alert. I guess I don't know.
I'm tired. This is the best joke you're going to get. Okay. Why didn't the orange finish the race?
Why?
Because he ran out of juice. Just like me.